Hello and welcome to this video. So this morning I was at the gym and I was coming home and I got a notification on my phone that Rafa Benitez has left Newcastle United. His contract will not be extended, and that is a big surprise to me. I thought they need to keep him on side, they need to keep the fans on side, and keeping Rafa Benitez at the club would help keep the fans on side. And it is a very, very, very interesting situation at Newcastle currently with the takeover. I'm not sure what's going on with the takeover. To be fair, it's gone all very quiet. It is with disappointment that we announced Rafael Benitez will leave Newcastle United upon the expiry of his contract on the 30th of June 2019. So that is just under a week's time. We have worked hard to extend Rafa's contract over a significant period of time. However, it has not been and will not be possible to reach an agreement with Rafa's representatives. Rafa, coaching staff will also leave the club. I'd like to thank you, Rafa and his staff over the last few years for what has been achieved. I'd like to thank you, supporters, players and staff, for the patience during this uncertainty. The process to appoint a successor will now begin. So Rafa Benitez, he has been a very successful manager in my opinion. He's won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League, he's won the FA Cup, he's won La Liga. So he's done fairly well. And he is, in my opinion, the best manager that Newcastle could get. The best, if they wanted to get the best possible manager they could get, they already have him. I don't think anyone better than Benitez would drop down to Newcastle. I think he is the best they could possibly get out of everyone. So I think this is a step in the wrong direction, as I think every Newcastle. I think so. He's been at Valencia, he's been at Liverpool, he's been at Inter Milan, Chelsea, Napoli, Real Madrid, and then Newcastle United, and that's where he's been since 2016, appointed on the 11th of March. So he was first appointed in 2015-16 season, the 11th of March 2016, after taking over from Steve McLaren. This season didn't go too well. They were relegated to the Championship alongside Norwich City and Aston Villa, both sides which have been promoted this season, which is strange. They were on course to stay up, but Sunderland won, I think it was 12 points from the last 6 games, so 12 from the possible 18 to stay up, which is really, really good form, and I think that was under Allardyce. So Newcastle ended up getting relegated and into the Championship. In the Championship, they did really well. They did as expected. They spent a lot of money. They lost a few players. They lost Wijnaldum, lost Sissoko that game to 55 million, and they did a lot of spending. They spent 57 million pounds in total, with an income of 87 million. They brought in the likes of Dwight Gale, Matt Ritchie, Isaac Hayden, Yedlin. I think they all had a big impact on the Championship season. And they ended up with 94 points, pipping Brighton on the final day to the title. I think that Brighton were going to win it, but I think they drew with Aston Villa. God, it's so long ago, I can't remember. I think that's what happened. So in the first season back in the Premier League, they brought the likes of Atsu, they brought Jacob Murphy, they brought Hosselu as well, Mikel Moreno, and they did really well in their first season, to be fair. They started off not the best, and they were in the dogfight, so to speak, and then they brought in a few players in January. I think the goalkeeper was brought in, and he made a difference. Dubravka, he made a difference, and they when he went in the sticks, it seemed to make a difference, and they seemed to get away. And then they ended up finishing 10th with 44 points. So that season went well, and then the season just gone, they finished in 13th place. I think they had more points this season than they had the season before when they finished 10th. They ended up finishing 13th, and I think Newcastle's aim with the current money situation was probably just to stay up, and that's exactly what Rafa Benitez had achieved. Signings wise, they bought Mikel Almiron, and he cost £21 million, breaking their record spend, which was a surprise. They also bought in Fabian Schär, who did well, Fernandes, Key, and I think they've spent fairly well under Rafa. Like like in terms of the players they brought in for the price they paid, I think they've done really, really well. He was always, you know, strained a little bit that he couldn't spend as much as he wanted. So that season he did fairly well. He got him into 13th, and they did very well. So overall, I think Rafa Benitez has been a success. Now, I think that the reason why he has left is he wanted insurances that Ashley couldn't give. He wanted probably a bigger budget. He wanted, you know, more control over transfers. Maybe, I'm not sure how much control he had. He must have a you know, and be able to spend a bit more money. He wanted to take Newcastle forward, because it wasn't, you know, a long time ago that they were, you know, challenging for the title. And I don't think he was given those assurances, and Rafa Benitez has decided to leave Newcastle. And there is a campaign of if Rafa goes, we go, which has been going on for a while. And Rafa has now left. It'd be interesting to see what the impact is on them. Will they, you know, continue to go to the games? Will they boycott the games because Rafa's now gone? It'd be interesting to see who they bring in. One thing I am pretty sure of is they won't bring in anyone anywhere near the quality of Rafa Benitez, because they'd have to do wonders. They still have this takeover situation. Like I said, it's gone a bit quiet. I'm not sure what will happen, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes. But the problem is, as the further it drags on and on and on, the less time there's going to be to bring players in, to have money available to bring players in, and you know it could be a case of waiting for the takeover to happen and no manager. So I'm not sure what will happen with the takeover. Personally, I'm not sure if it will happen or not. But I think that this is definitely a step in the wrong direction. And I don't think this will go down too well with the Newcastle fans. If you're a Newcastle fan, let me hear what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But Rafa Benitez has left Newcastle United. I think this is just a massive, massive step in the wrong direction. They needed to be stable. They needed stability. And like I said, I think it was just a case of he needed assurances that he was going to have a budget and things like that kind of thing. And it wasn't given. And that's, you know, that's because they're very careful with their money in Newcastle. Ashley doesn't like to give any away if he can help it. Newcastle, they, in my opinion, would have been safe under Rafa Benitez. I don't think they would have got relegated under Rafa Benitez. In my opinion, I think they'd be fine. But now it is massive who they bring in, because if they bring in someone that isn't good enough, they could be in the relegation battle as well. I'm really struggling to see who will go down. I'm expecting all three clubs to come up to struggle, but I don't think all three will go down. I think at least one of them will stay up. So it'd be interesting to see who comes down. I think Brighton might struggle as well, but Newcastle could potentially struggle if they don't bring in a suitable replacement. It'd be really interesting to see who comes in. They've had the usual managers like the Pardew's and the Allardyce. We've had that sort of manager. I think that they might go abroad. Maybe have a look in Spain or in France or something like that. Maybe have a look at a manager there, or maybe go down the lower leagues. I can't see them going into the Championship and picking someone out. Maybe they'll look in the Premier League, maybe a Wilder or something like that. But it's hard to see a world where, you know, you'd want to leave to go to Newcastle with everything up in the air at the moment. Hopefully they get this appointment right, because if they don't get it right, they could be in all sorts of trouble next season, in my opinion. I think their squad is good enough to stay up, but that doesn't mean anything. There's been some good squads that have struggled and just stayed up. There's been some good squads that have got relegated. So let me hear your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you think, and give me your thoughts down below on this, particularly if you're a Newcastle supporter. I'd be interested to see what happens if Rafa goes, we go, and that campaign. I have watched Newcastle Fans TV, the Newcastle fan channel, and they're was only a quick little video, so it was hard to engage. I will have a look at the forums and the comments after I've done this video, but I'm really intrigued where they go from here. But I think this is a massive step in the wrong direction. I think everyone can say this is a wrong thing. Rafa is very good at what he does. He would keep you up, and he would be able to bring you forward, bring you into the top 10, maybe push for Europe if it was given the right funds. But I don't think those funds would ever have been on the table. I don't think he's been very happy at Newcastle United for a long time, and I think this was only a matter of time. His contract's up. He wanted insurance, so he's going to leave, and he has left. So that is the story. Rafa Benitez has left Newcastle and will be leaving on the 30th of June, and they will be looking at a successor now, and it'll be interesting to see who they bring in. But if there is any news, I will post it on a video. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Thanks so much for watching this video. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.